Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Paul Jassogne. A pleasure to have him on with us now. We only have him on a couple times a year, so it's a rare and indeed a pleasure to have the chief of the Lancaster Fire Department on, Chief David Ward. Chief Ward, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you again.
Pleasure to have you with us. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on there. I don't know if you're as busy as your men out there, and men and women,
right?
Because man, you don't go a day that you don't hear a siren, and they're out there.
We have those new medic units, and they have those updated federal Q sirens, and when they pull out, you hear it all over the city. So,
you hear it, you don't even know where they're coming from. You just look around. I know they're here. I just don't know where.
Exactly.
And I guess that's a lead into 2019. Had to be I don't know about a record-setting year, but boy, it was tremendously busy.
It was. I think every year we go higher and higher. Our medic runs tend to go up about 2 or 3% a year. Fire runs sometimes go up, sometimes plateau, sometimes go a little bit lower. In 2018, they went up 4%. I haven't got the total numbers here as far as percentage-wise of what it went up this year, but I'm sure it's up.
And I don't know I think we've probably talked about it. I don't know what the protocol is. Now, is every fireman trained to be a paramedic also?
You know what? No, but now you have to have both your fire card and your medic card to take our test. Because this year, 2019, 87% of our runs were EMS. So we need medics.
Okay.
Everybody needs medics. It's very hard
even
now.
If only the fire truck.
Only the fire truck. We still have medics on those trucks.
Yeah.
So if all the medics are tied up, which is very common, when an engine pulls up, there's a medic on there. So we can give definitive medical care even if the medic unit's tied up. And we carry the medications and things on there very similar to what the medic unit has.
And you talked about sometimes the medic units are tied up when there's a fire call or something like that. But in a perfect world, if there is a fire call, does a medic unit run with that?
Everything. Say a commercial fire, every asset that we have in the city is going to go on that run.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world. But like what I've told downtown and I've told council and I tell the community, we almost have to assume that 2 of our medic units are busy all the time. So we have a minimum staffing requirement in our contract that says we can't go below 16 firefighters per day. 16 guys fighting fire.
Actual firefighters.
Right. Firefighter medics. We're all firefighters,
right.
Even myself.
Right.
We carry our cards. So you have to have 16 on duty, but if you have 2 medic units tied up, that takes away 6 guys, so you're only trying to fight a fire with 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's a firefighter, and we rely a lot now on mutual aid.
Sure, and every now and then I'll read that in the paper where you've either assisted in some cases, you've helped out when you can, or people have come in and helped you.
Absolutely. We just had a fire out at Ralston, 4th floor. It was a cereal dryer, and we had all of our assets. We had Greenfield, Pleasant, Hocking, and Basel. So we had 4 other departments helping us fight that fire.
You get out there to someplace like Ralston, anything's possible when you go out. You don't know what you're going to run into, so it could be
You're
big.
Right. It's right. And we try to have 2 or 3 units deep. So if something happened where a firefighter went down or a group went down, we have that asset, the next thing going in to help them, and we move those people up. So we safety minded, so we're trying to keep enough assets so what if happens, then we have enough staff to take care of the business, because if it took 20 minutes to get there and you have firefighters going down, you're not going to get them out unless you have assets there.
Talking with Chief David Ward of the Lancaster Fire Department, and there's a big income tax coming up here in a couple of months, and we're going to talk about that. But to lead into that, one of the subjects we always talk about is staffing in terms of you're trying to get to a certain number, and almost always whenever I've spoken with you on the show, you've never been at that number. You've always been a little bit below that number. How are we now on staffing?
Give you a little history. In 2008, we were at 92 firefighters. The recession hit, we pared it down to 70. 11 through attrition, 13 we laid off in 2011. So we were at 70 for the last number of years. In 2019, we went below that, and we're still below that. We went down to 66. To give you an example, in 1979, we had 67 firefighters. So 40 years later, and 8,000 more runs than we did in '79. We are less than we had then. So it's critical. Our staffing numbers are critical. And so I'm very pleased that Mayor Scheffler and council have decided to try and seek funding. It really is needed. I think there's two ways to look at it. This is an income tax. If it passes, we can do this much, but more, right? My goal would be, if this were to pass, is to put a fourth medic on the road, which would bring us up to about 82 or 83 firefighters. That's really where we need to be, just to service what we're doing now. However, and there's a lot of planning of what happens if we pass it, but the thing I'm concerned about is if it doesn't pass.
And that's something I think deserves a bit of attention. You know,
Absolutely.
we know what you'll do if it doesn't pass. Well, in November it didn't. Now they're coming back in March. I don't know if this is the last best chance for this to pass, but should it not pass in March 17th,
right,
where will we be?
Well, to give you an example, I have 3 firefighters retiring in 2020 this year, and if it does not pass in March, the first one retires in March. If it does not pass in March, we won't be replacing those firefighters either. So we could realistically see our numbers down to 63 by the end of the year. And at some point, it's got to stop.
I would say these would be critical times.
These are very critical. I've been in the chief's position now, finished my 8th, getting ready to start the 9th. And every year since '07, I've been assistant chief, and down, we've been tightening our belt. There's no more tightening. To give you an example, at the end of 2019, we have an EMS operation that does, again, 87% of our business. We did not have enough money to fund that operation, to buy supplies, so I had to transfer some money out of different accounts to try and cover, to buy the IVs and the IV setups and the drugs and things of that nature. Same with fuel. We were about $5,000 short on fuel. So this is really critical. So it would be great to say this is what's going to happen. If it passes, we can add so many more people. But if it doesn't pass, it's going to be, there's just, in the non-salaried line items, there's not any fat at all.
Yeah.
And so it's through attrition. I'm hoping that we sustain this until we can get something passed to the public. Our budget in 2019 was about $9,144,000. This year it went up to 9.35. But the management, we didn't take a raise, obviously, and our insurance went up across the city. The collective bargaining units, they did take their contractual raise, but many years in a row they chose to help the city out and didn't take raises, just like a lot of people. But it's really critical now.
And I know you're not here to speak for the police department,
Right.
but we're talking about all the safety forces
Yes.
in general, kind of in this same boat.
Absolutely. Chief Pilar, I think, has 67 police officers. He just had an 18-year veteran leave him and went to, I think, Madison Township, which is Groveport Canal. We had the same thing happen last year. We had 2 people or 3 leave us, 2, I think. One was almost a 20-year veteran. He went to Licking County to become a firefighter up there. We're losing people. Lateral transfers are happening where other departments can hire you and give you the same amount of time that you had in that department and better pay. So it's a really tough time.
And I'm sure with some of your folks, maybe it's the newer ones that are on board, I don't know, but I'm sure this uneasiness about these things passing,
Yes.
our jobs. I saw it in the city schools when it happened years ago with the city schools. Teachers got uneasy. You saw a lot of them transfer to other schools in the county because they were worried that come the new school year, what are we going to do?
Exactly, and I had a lot of discussion with our command staff last year. We have a history. We've had a historical trend that we would lay firefighters off. In 1989, we laid off at least 15. In 95, when things got tight, we laid off more firefighters. Then we had a huge layoff in 11. And I told the command staff that I'm not asking to replace people. I would rather be short-staffed, call in overtime if we have to, and then not lay off, because you can't get past that stigma. When you have a young person who's trying to build a career, where's he going to go? He's going to go to a department that has stability and is not known to lay off. And so we're trying to overcome that and stay as lean as we can and not have any layoffs. And that's my goal. And if we have to go to 63, then so be it. At some point, the services, you just can't provide everything that you want to.
And that, I don't think we've ever really experienced that in the city. I live in the township, so I'm not in the city, but those could be pretty
Well,
difficult and scary times.
Chief Welch in 1989, we were in the same situation, and he had to, I'm sure he didn't want to do it, but he had to reduce some services. In fact, if you recall, they had Engine House 2 and Engine House 3 closed, and everybody was on the hill. And I'm not sure if they gave medic service completely up, but it was catastrophic. And we need to not get there. We need to make something happen. We need to pass. I would encourage anybody that would love to call me and ask questions about our financials, how we operate. 740-687-6640. Give me a call. I'm normally in the office by 7 in the morning and until 4 in the afternoon or 4:30. I'm there. I would love to have a conversation with you because there's no fat left. We have done, I think, a very good job. So is the police about doing much more with less. And now it's at the point where less means less.
And I'm sure if there are any organizations that somebody's a member of, you or somebody on
Absolutely.
your staff would love to come out and spread this word.
Right. Rotary, Kiwanis, any other organization out there that would love to have us come and talk. Myself, Chief Pilar, the mayor, the safety director, we would love to come and tell you how we operate. Stop at the firehouse. We'll show you show you around.
Probably a little uneasy times in the fire department now. I'm sure among the troops, you can probably feel that buzz when it's going on there. There's a sense you would have of that.
There's a tension,
Yes.
and I've been trying to alleviate that and say through attrition, we'll get through this. And again, back in '89 we hired 15, and then in '90 we hired because of the levy passed. Well, we're all retiring now, so we have 3 leaving in this year. We'll have 2 or 3 leaving in 2021, and myself and several others in 2022. So, I hope it doesn't come to that, but we're doing the best we can with what we're given. If it passes, yes, we can add more, but if it doesn't pass, that's the thing. We have to, it's going to be serious business.
Well, again, it did make it November, so they're bringing it back now. And again, it's safety forces in general. It's certainly
Right.
the firefighters, as we've heard Chief Ward talk about. Chief Pilar and the police are in kind of the same boat. I think for years now we've watched fat be cut.
Yes.
The mayor's done this, council's done this. We've moved money from this account to this account, as you've done, to keep going.
Right.
Pretty soon those little accounts with a little buildup, they don't exist.
And Mayor Scheffler came in, and I think the results were the same, but we went almost like a zero base. And if you trended 3 years in your utilities and you spent $45,000 between the 3 engine houses, that's what you received. Well, everything goes up just a touch, right? So if it went up 1 or 2%, there's just not enough money to even cover that anymore. In the past, we'd have a little bit built in, but we are truly bare bones right now.
Yeah. Well, Chief Dave Ward of the Lancaster Fire Department joins us and talk about what we hope is a good outcome, March 17th. And again, please contact the fire department. They're in the book. You can look them up. They're in the city. Stop in, see the folks. If you have a group, have somebody come and talk to your group, and they'll answer questions. They're real open about it. They'll show you numbers. All that is public information. I'm sure you'd be glad to share anything you have.
Our books are open.
Sure.
And our operations open, and we're very hospitable, so please come in. Give us a call. We would love to have a conversation with you.
Chief Dave Ward of the Lancaster Fire Department, and just let me say, nice haircut.
Thank you. I got this after the gym. He and I work out together.
Just good to have him clean up for TV. That's great. Chief
Thank you,
Dave
sir.
Ward with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
luck. And we'll have the mayor on. We'll talk about this more as we move closer to March and this levy or income tax comes on the thing. So good luck with everything. Appreciate all the
Thank you.
information. Good stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Chief Dave Ward of the Lancaster Fire Department. And this is Fairfield Today.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Did you know that 2/3 of teens and young adults who report abuse of prescription medicines are getting it from people they know, including friends and family? We need to remember to secure them in a safe place, even lock them up if necessary. Monitor your medications so you know exactly how many pills are in each bottle. And finally, keep track of your refills. If you are done with their use, properly dispose them to avoid abuse. You can do this in a number of ways. 1. Take them to a local drop box at the Lancaster or Pickerington Police Departments or at one of our drug take-back events. 2. Take the drugs out of their containers, mix them with cat litter or used coffee grounds in a container, seal and place them in the trash. Remember to remove all personal information from your pill bottles. Or 3. Check the prescription information regarding the specifics if the medication could be flushed, or call your pharmacist. Remember, if you are done with its use, properly dispose to avoid abuse.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Thank you for joining us. We are downtown here at Fairfield Federal. We want to remind you that as you move into 2020 now, we're well into the new year. If you're thinking about a construction loan for your home, or maybe buying a new home or remodeling, any of those things, fairfieldfederal.com is a great website to go to talk about that. You certainly have phone numbers on there and folks you can call and talk about things, but if you're just beginning this search on any of those things or other things that money might be the answer to, fairfieldfederal.com is a good place to start. They have a lot of information on the website, whether it's personal, whether it's business, any of the things, or internet banking, which is the hot commodity right now, where their ATMs are, how you can do that, check balances, check everything via the internet. Of course, you can do that here at fairfieldfederal.com. So again, all the phone numbers and names of the folks are on there that you can call and talk to them, and they encourage that, but some of the information can be garnered if you just look at their website. So again, I would suggest fairfieldfederal.com is a good place to start, a jump-off point, and then they have a great website. You can go there and look a lot of information up and then move on from there with other questions you may have about things they do or people that are here you can talk to, fairfieldfederal.com. It's been a while since we've had Corey Schoonover with us. Corey, a lot of hats, but today we're going to be talking about the one with the Fairfield Area Humane Society. Corey, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hope you have a good New Year's and a good Christmas. Busy time up on the hill there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Had a great holiday, and a lot of animals found homes, and so we're excited for the new year for sure.
I think we're going to talk about what you do there with the Humane Society, because I think, for the most part, I think people understand that if there's lost and found pets, they can call you. You're a resource for that. And anytime there's animal cruelty, you're, of course, are one of the places to call for that.
Yeah.
But then if you want to go to a good website, this website is a good one. It's very interactive, lots of information on there. I think I just went Fairfield Area Humane, and then it pops up, and then you can check it. You probably have a real address you can check it, right?
Yeah, fairhumane.org, but yeah, if you just search for Humane Society, and we'll pop up in this area for sure.
Well, they've got a lot of information on there, a lot of good-looking puppies. We're big on puppies, and I grew up with somebody that my mom always had Siamese cats, so I'm a cat person too, so we just love animals. But I was looking at some of the things you do, and my golly, you take on a lot to chew on.
Yeah, this is my 10th year, and looking back on, I just had made a post on my personal Facebook page. I couldn't believe it was 2020 and how fast the last 10 years have gone, and then to look at where we started with the Humane Society and where we've grown at 10 years. The goal really for us, everybody thinks Humane Society and like, hey, that's where I can come to adopt a cat or a dog, and we do a lot of that, close to 1,000 of them a year now. But I really wanted to make it a one-stop shop, if you will, in terms of even if you don't have the room to add another pet to your house, you have the ability to still come see us for your current pet needs. So whether it's our spay and neuter clinic or whether it's just buying your flea prevention, we do grooming, dog training, and now last year we added our wellness clinic, so we have a vet clinic on site now. So it's just really anything pet. Check out the Humane Society. We probably can do it for you, or at least get you in the right direction if we don't.
And I'm sure that's a big part of what you do, is if it's something in the realm of you don't do, then you're a good resource to say, well, here's a number you can call or somebody you should see.
Yes, absolutely. So I think the biggest misconception that's out there, if you've lived in Lancaster for a long time or if you've been in this area, our building is the old Fairfield County Dog Shelter. So when I was a kid, there was just the one building up
Right.
there, and you could drive around and look
Had
at
a
the
loop in
dogs.
there. That's right.
So now that we're in that old building, we still have some people maybe get confused because we share the driveway and we're right next to the county dog shelter. So I think some people think, oh, well, you can adopt a cat on the top of the hill and you adopt a dog on the bottom of the hill. We get a little bit of that, but the biggest difference is if you have a stray dog that shows up at your house, that's where you call the dog shelter. But if you have a neighbor that's not treating their animals properly, that's when you call us. So the stray dog aspect on one end, but then we handle all of the cruelty and neglect cases in the county.
And I know you work closely with them. Either one of you, if they know the other one's the resource there, they would share that easily, because I know you work closely with them and in concert. A lot of the things you do probably together.
We get into a lot of situations. We work really closely with even operations in the city. So we work really closely with the police department, the sheriff's department, even code enforcement. So, but a lot of our cases sometimes get into adult protective services issues or children's services. So as mandated reporters, and when we're dealing with animals, animals are tied to people, right? So we deal with a lot of those people situations as well.
With talking with Corey Schoonover, he's the director of the area Humane Society, and as he alluded to several of the things right there, I think, if you go to adopt a pet, that's a big part of their business. Probably the biggest part of their business is what they do up there. But if you go to the website, you see how many more different and really logical things, the next step that you've added on. These just seem to make so much sense. Rather, since you do this, why don't you do that? And now you do that, do this. And I'm sure one leads to another. And now you're really a comprehensive pet place.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And we want you to understand that a new pet is a lifetime commitment, right? So if you're, and pets are like kids. They get sick, or they need their hair cut, or nails trimmed, whatever that may be. And we want you to think, okay, if I'm going to adopt a puppy and I'm going to have this dog for 15 years, you can come for everything. Their vet care, we have people walk in, it's $5 to get your dog's nails trimmed. And I don't know if you've had a dog that hates its nails trimmed, or even a cat. We probably have, I was just doing some stuff this morning, and we had 10 people come in yesterday just to get a $5 toenail trim. And it's really those things that we like to get out there, because as a nonprofit organization, we really count on those little things to add up to really help us with the other important parts in terms of the adoptions and housing animals and getting them healthy for us to find them new homes.
Looking at some of the things, Corey, that you do up there, I think the first one you list is the wellness vet clinic. This is a big deal now you have going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. We want, in a perfect world, I wouldn't have a job. No one would need to surrender their animals, or there wouldn't be animals looking for homes. And a lot of things, a lot of times over the last few years, we get people surrendering their animals because they can't afford basic vet care. And if you don't take care of the basics, it can turn into something much bigger. So whether it's your flea prevention or just your annual vaccines, we wanted to give people the opportunity to keep their pets and walk in the door and be able to get. So you can come to our wellness clinic and get an exam and get all of your vaccines for the year, a fecal, a heartworm test to check for heartworms, and you can walk out the door for under $100. So really the goal with that is, hey, we want to help you keep your pets healthy and in their home, and we want to do it at an affordable cost. And you kind of see that as the theme across the board for all of our services.
Now, you have, a couple vets come a couple days a week?
Yep.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, so right now the vet clinic is open. It's by appointment, and we're open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we do appointments from 9 to 3:30. So I'm not saying those days are the most convenient, but it's worth it to rearrange your schedule to get in there. And then as the demand grows for that, we'll continue to expand and add other days. We just actually installed, towards the end of last year, we installed a dental suite. So we're actually going to be able to do dentals for dogs.
That's a big deal.
And it is. And right now I'm just trying to make arrangements to get a vet in there. And then you'll see us kind of add. So even in our first year of operation there, we've already added blood work. So you can come in and get your basic blood work. You know, some dogs are on medicines for seizures or things like that, and you need to have blood work done every few months. So you can actually come in, get that done, and then if it requires something more than what we offer, we have a couple different vets here and around town that we can refer you to, and they can just continue the care with what we've already started.
And part of that, I know it's a spay and neuter clinic. Is that part of the vet when they visit, or is that
spay and neuter
by
is
an appointment?
Yeah, spay and neuter is completely different from our wellness clinic.
Okay.
So spay and neuter, we have Rascal unit come from Dublin once a month, actually once a month every month, and every other month they're twice a month because of the demand. That is come in and prepay to get on the schedule, because we do cat spay and neuter for $60 and dog spay and neuter for $110. So for that price, we book out 3 and 4 months in advance. So I believe we're already booking into March right now. And when we
Crazy.
Yeah, it is. We had 13 people come in and sign up animals yesterday to get them done. So that service is a little separate, but you come in and prepay for that. We get you on the schedule, and that's a same-day drop-off. So you drop off in the morning whenever your scheduled surgery date is, and then you pick up later in the afternoon. And those clinics, we do 50 surgeries on that particular day. So we're really trying to help the pet population at the same time.
I mean, I think we talked during the fair. I ran into you and we talked about things, and you were talking about perhaps a new building project you've got, at least in the thinking stages.
Yep, we're actually progressing past the thinking stage. We have approved building plans. We've had to tweak a little bit for handicap accessibility to the building. It's at, that main building that we had that we talked about, we used to drive around the loop. 1939 is when that building was built, and we've added 2 different buildings on in my 10 years, and we're getting ready to blow out the front of the existing building so we can have a bigger lobby. We can add additional adoption rooms. So you'll actually probably in the next couple weeks see construction happen, and hopefully it'll be a quick 30-45 days, and we're really excited about that because it really gives us room to operate. Right now we have a revolving door, we call it, when we're trying to do business in the office with 3 different people in there and trying to help the customer. So we're actually, it sounds weird, but we're super excited to have a big lobby.
I imagine the staff's pretty excited.
Oh, absolutely. I'm if I don't make it happen, I'm in trouble. So we're making it happen.
Corey Schoonover, Executive Director with the Fairfield Humane Society. Again, you can just Google that and search engine on that and find it. They do a tremendous amount of things with pets that perhaps you may not even know it. So it's worth a visit there if you have a pet, just to see what's available. And again, they're booking months in advance on some of these things. So if something interests you on that site, call them or get on there. What's the phone number again?
It's 740-687-0627.
Give them a call. They have a great website, very interactive. I think you'll enjoy looking at them. A lot of pictures of cute puppies and stuff up there. I'm a big rescue dog person. That's where I've got mine up there. So they have a great location up there that's going to get even bigger. So excited about the future here. It's going to be pretty exciting 2020 for the Humane Society. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Corey Schoonover with us. He's director of that. Thank you for joining us. And we appreciate you being with us in Fairfield today.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.